anybody as an entrepreneur, you have to be resilient, not just balancing your work and your family and making sure you get some rest time so you don't burn out, but you have to be resilient. It takes that to get through the challenges and the tough times.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi, and welcome back to the My Future Business Show. My name's Rick Nusky. I'm on the line with Denise Turney. How are you, Denise?
I am doing fabulous, and thank you for the invite, Rick. Excited to be here.
Oh, look, it's just a wonderful pleasure that I have to speak with some amazing people, including yourself. So welcome to the show. Now, for everybody who's on the line with us today, we're going to be talking about a great deal of things. And the main, I guess, the core of the call is about resilience. But before we jump into this and book writing and your journey through life, as it were, Denise, share a little bit about yourself with the My Future Business audience.
So, well, thank you again, and appreciate the invite. So a little bit about me. I actually am a novelist, a freelance writer. I started writing when I was a little girl, not going to skip away my age, but many moons ago. My first novel is Portia, and it's an inspirational book about a successful defense attorney who's dealing with breast cancer. It's an inspirational book, and people who have gone through that or know family members who've had to experience breast cancer, they've given that to them, and people have been inspired to continue to work toward a healing. So it takes an honest approach about something that impacts millions of people, but the reader is left feeling inspired and motivated and energized. And so I'm also next wrote Love Has Many Faces. It's a murder mystery. I never thought I would write mystery, but that one is set in New York City, and it's a more of a celebrity read. There's A-list celebrity who's made some bad decisions, and so she is really down on her luck, and her finances aren't good. She puts out an ad in a newspaper, and an up and coming playwright accepts the ad. But when we invite people into our lives, or we go into somebody's life, it brings a world of change. Not only the people and their current relationships, but their past.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something from the actress's past, her father's past, that haunts both of the women. Although they go on to develop a really, really good friendship, but the ending is a cliffhanger.
I bet.
And then also Spiral. That's another murder mystery set in the 1940s in Memphis, Tennessee. And I tell people, if you love music, particularly jazz, and I do, and good food, and you love community and family, you'll love that aspect of Spiral. But it's a murder. It is a murder mystery, kind of like The Lovely Bones. I've had readers tell me it's sort of like that. That was a bestseller.
Yep.
And my current book out right now is Love Pour Over Me, and it's a thick read as well as Love Has Many Faces. And it's a book about a guy. He and his father have a complicated relationship. His mother walked out when he was 2, but his father has untreated alcoholism, and he stays and raises, his son. But it's years before his son can see really what his father has done, despite, his father is mean as well.
Mm-hmm.
But childhood pains and hardships, we have to work through them, and so he does. But what does it cost him when he goes to college and meets the love of his life? There's a murder mystery tucked in Love Pour Over Me as well. But the question is, how long would you wait to be with the person you were supposed to be with all your life? So having written and for me the path, like for your show with the business aspect,
mm-hmm.
I self-published. So I came out with my first book in 1998 in self-publishing. I started my own company, and self-publishing was frowned upon. It is so common today.
Oh, yes.
That for people who are doing it today, they may not recall or know. Libraries wouldn't touch you. Book editors wouldn't touch you. Book reviewers, you couldn't get on the radio. You couldn't. They were like, if they found out it was self-published, they wanted nothing to do with it. But more and more people self-published, promoted, started selling their books, Some got picked up by major publishing houses, and now self-publishing is just as normal as anything.
Yeah, I have a big spot in my heart for authors, and that's why I have incredible authors on the show to share their journey with that, not only that publishing experience, but also the fact that they are very creative by definition of being an author if they're into the fictional space. I wonder, so are you blending real life experiences with fiction in all of these writings? Are they reflective of people that you really know? How did this creative process come about for you?
You know what's so funny, Rick, that you would ask that? As a writer, I will tell you, I try very hard, particularly with my early books. I said, I will never include anything of myself. This is fiction. I just won't do it. But when I go back and read my novels, I see little snippets of myself or of my
Ah,
family, but it's not with intent.
not with
It's not
intent,
with
yeah.
intent. But will tell you, I have met some people that have such big personalities or personalities that are just so memorable. You cannot forget them. That it is, I could take a little bit of piece of this person and a little bit of that person and create a great character because it's the characters who drive a story. People have to care about what's going to happen to the characters. So, but generally, I try to steer clear of that, but I think subconsciously it happens anyway.
Yeah, they just happen to make their way into the book somehow or other. Now, I'd love to now deep dive into the core of the call about the power of resilience. Love to learn more about your take on resilience and why it's so important.
Resilience is important to me in my life experience because you never know what the day is going to bring. I can remember when I was younger, I had the support of my family around me, and they were all well. A lot of them have since gone on, but I just thought I could almost plan how the next day was going to go. Had so much security and safety and support. When I was still living at home, then I got out on my own. And again, when I launched my own company, Chistell Publishing, and then later when I started freelance writing, I started freelance writing right near almost the heart of the recession. It
Mm.
actually was the recession. I had worked for a financial services firm for almost 18 years, a very strong firm internationally with a global presence. Nobody thought this company, nobody thought this company would ever go through what it went through, but that pushed me out into entrepreneurship and to be an entrepreneur. And I actually worked for myself for 5 years.
Hmm.
During that recession was mean
Yeah.
globally. It was tough, and I was it was like what March 2009, right in the heart of it. If I had not been resilient, not only would I not my writing, and again I was writing for clients, not just writing novels. I was to pay my bills. I was writing for marketing firms. I was writing for real estate firms. I was writing for attorneys, and I said if I can keep 12 clients at all times, because you some clients that need more work 1 month and sometimes they don't need
Hmm.
anything, so you keep several clients on hand so you can keep enough work coming in to pay your bills. But if I had not been resilient, especially during the low times and my starting out and ramping up, I probably might would have thrown in a towel, not only with my freelance writing, but also as a novelist, because you have to market and sell your books. Writing a book is just one part of it.
Yeah.
You have to, anybody as an entrepreneur, you have to be resilient, not just balancing your work and your family and making sure you get some rest time so you don't burn out, but you have to be resilient. It takes that to get through the challenges and the tough times.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing those insights. They are powerful bits of content for those who are on the call today. Now, in terms of your writing for your clients, so that's essentially as a ghostwriter, is that what that is?
I did do some ghostwriting, and those are for some of those are like colleges and universities. So they wanted, that's the presence of this is coming from, or maybe you're writing some blog posts for a CEO. well, it's going to be coming out from the CEO, or it'll come out from the college or the university or whoever the client is. So that's more that ghostwriting. And that's more what I did: web content, articles, things you would read online.
Hmm.
But I also did some freelance writing where I had a byline. And one thing I would recommend to people, that's one way, if any other listeners are entrepreneurs or freelancers, or they have a job but they want to start to move into a different space, they have a dream, something they'd like to do. Guest blogging is one way you can do that, and start your own blog. If you do blog, I recommend doing at least once a week,
Hmm.
because you'll start to build up your readership. But you have to be consistent. You can't do it sometimes, go 3 4 weeks, don't do it. You have to be consistent.
Yeah,
uh,
that's a big
uh,
thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, you have to be consistent
So
when you do it.
when you're working with people through your publishing house at chistell.com, and I'll make it available, all of the links for everybody who's on the call today. What is the process when somebody comes to you and they're wanting some work to be done? What's the process look like?
For me, as a freelancer, I currently do not. I used to run a writing contest every year,
Hmm.
and it got a load of traffic. But I have suspended that. I haven't done it in a couple of years.
Hmm.
It takes a lot of time, and I just ran out of time. I had other things that I was doing, so I put that on pause.
We wish that we
But
had another extra day in the week, don't we, sometimes?
oh my goodness. But for the freelancing, somebody could just contact me directly through my site. I also have another website that they can go through to reach me. But the process generally for me, somebody can email me, but I'll always reach out and find out what exactly does the client need. I won't just take any job. I have to know that I have the experience. I want to make sure the client is above average satisfied. I want them to really be impressed and extremely satisfied with my
Hmm.
work. So if somebody asks me to do work on chemical engineering, I have deep research skills, but I don't know a lot about chemical engineering, so I may not take that job.
Yeah, I understand.
I've got to make sure not just to take anything, but that I can deliver and really go way above
So
over
this
the bar.
seems like a customer avatar, which I think is very important for everybody who's listening to the call today to understand, is that it's okay to say no to some customers that don't fit inside of your business. Would you agree with that, Denise?
Absolutely, because you don't want to take on a job
Mm.
and then you can't deliver, or it chews up so much of your time that
Yeah.
your per hour rate is 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 really low, because you're just researching and digging and trying to get up to speed.
Hmm.
So for me, it's like, do myself a favor, and I stay in spaces that I have a lot of experience, and
Yep.
I can knock it out pretty quickly because I have that firsthand experience.
That makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. Now, I wonder with your personal writing, and I guess if you're teaching somebody else to write, um, where do you get inspiration from? Environmental components, other people? Love to just share a little bit with the My Future Business audience about where you can find that gold.
Inspiration will, regardless of whether somebody's a writer or what your listeners' dreams are. Actually, and I heard a singer, Maxwell, say this. He took a break from singing. I don't know if you are familiar with he sings like neo soul, but
Hmm.
he took a break for like 10 years, and when he came back, his new CD just took off. And so they were like, why did you step away for so long? He said, well, to get material, like you said, inspiration for my work, I have to live. I have to get out. So the number one inspiration, I would say, and I agree with that, is your personal life experiences. If you ever watch, like, I hear in the United States, they have Shark Tank.
Hmm.
A lot of the people who come on with a product to launch a business that they want to get out there, it comes from a need. So they're cooking and there's a need. They're like, where is something to pour the grease into, so I don't have to pour it down a sink or
Yep.
put it in a garbage can. And then they come up with a product idea.
Hmm.
Somebody who has kids how can I something that you can carry your children
Yep.
and still exercise at the same time. Somebody comes up, so inspiration comes from living. Just you see a need that you have, and you think, I bet you there are other people who are in my situation, and that's where inspiration comes from for products, for books. It also comes from life experiences or a news story that I might hear about, or
Yep.
just hearing somebody talking on a train. It comes from living. That's where I think inspiration
You,
comes from.
you find often that movies are born from books, which is, I guess, the next step.
Yes, and but I always liked the book almost, except for one movie, The Color Purple, Steven Spielberg. I
Ah,
I did like the movie version of that, but I often like the book better because and I interviewed a movie producer once, and I said, why don't you guys cover more of the story? He said, well, it's tough to get an entire story in within 2 hours of a
yes.
movie. So you pick a single one or two things to focus on, and that's what you do when you put out a movie.
I'm wondering about what's happening with your authorship at the moment. And another question I have is, what's your view on audiobooks? They seem very popular nowadays.
You know what? Isn't it a time saver? And people are just people. And one thing I see, like, I don't know if you go on LinkedIn, but one thing I see is that this topic, burnout. Now I'm not experiencing that, but
Hmm.
I see that topic is very popular because people are working. They're working some from sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
But the thing is, even more, you've got social media. So even if you're not working, people on social media, including kids. Also, you have your cell phone, so your job can reach you anywhere now because of the cell phone.
Hmm.
And then you have your laptops, you have your tablets. It's so it's
You can
tough.
be everywhere, can't you?
Oh, it's tough to unplug. It's tough to unplug.
So, is audio a format that you offer through your publishing house?
I currently don't do audiobooks, but to follow up on the question that you asked,
Hmm.
audiobooks is a time saver. So you could be listening to an audiobook and driving. You could be listening to an audiobook and on the train to or from work.
Hmm.
You could be listening to an audiobook and cooking or cleaning around your home. So it's a time saver. So when we were saying our lives are so full, I could see where they're attractive. But currently, my books are available in print and ebook format.
So, the process of creating the book, uh, talk about that. How does this come about?
So the ideal comes, and then I sit down and I write, and I don't wait for the muse. We talked about inspiration later. Is discipline for when it comes to book writing. I just sit down and I make myself sit down and write until I finish. Right now, I'm working on two books. I'm working on a young adult book, and I'm also working on a book for adults set in the
Fantastic.
1940s. But I sit down and I write. Then I send it off to. I self edit as well, and I'll self edit maybe four revisions or more. And then I send it off to my editor, who's in California, and she's so nice, but
Mm.
she always chops it up. She's
It
so
never
nice.
looks, it never
But
looks the same, does
she's
it?
a she's a oh, she's sweet, but and then she makes suggestions. She does line editing, and she'll make suggestions to me. Then I'll go back over it again, and then I will get it ready for the printer. The good thing with ebooks for your listeners, you always want to research, and if you do go with a printer, you want to also always price compare to
Hmm.
make sure you're getting the best deal through a book distributor. You want to see what if you can get a lower percentage. Most distributors take about 55 to 60%, but if you
Wow.
can get lower than that. But ebooks, you don't have that print cost overhead. You don't have to worry about where you're going to store the books. But if bookstores or libraries get them, you don't have to worry about returns uh, with ebooks. So it just lowers your overhead a great deal. But I get mine through ebook it, and then ebook it pushes it out to Amazon and Barnes and Noble and Google Books and all those different sites for readers to order my books from.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. Amazon seems to be a key player here, but I always think about this, the consequences of having these behemoths such as Amazon and the Googles, running monopolies over all of these different services. So it's nice to actually hear that someone uses something different. What was the name of that the business again?
It's ebook it ebook it. Smashwords is another one that I've heard about. But with the thing with ebooks for your listeners, I do want to share this. Shop around for someone who's going to format them. I think ebook it does, but you can actually get a cheaper rate for somebody who's going to format an ebook. I tried to do it myself once. It's
hard work.
Yes, go through somebody who has experience with it, and they can do it for a fairly low price.
Fantastic. So when somebody wants to work with you, where are they going to find you?
You can find me at chistell.com, chistell.com. I'm on Twitter at DT Writers. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook as well, Denise Turney. So please, I would love for you to visit me again at chistell.com. Of course, my books are at amazon.com. Love, Pour Over Me, Portia, Long Walk Up, Spiral. I would love for you to get a copy of one of my books and let me know how you enjoyed the book.
Thank you so much for sharing everything that you have shared with us today, Denise. Now, for everybody who's on the call, I will be making the links back to chistell.com below the post. No matter whether you see this call, you will find those links. Denise, thank you so very much for spending some time with me on the My Future Business Show today.
Thank you, Rick. I loved it.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.